There comes a moment in every life when the noise feels louder than your purpose, when doubt whispers, maybe this isn't for you. But listen, that voice isn't truth. It's the echo of limitation. It's the old you trying to pull you back to safety, while the new you is begging to be born. Every great achiever, every inventor, every creator faced the same choice, to surrender to fear or to stand tall in faith. The ones who changed the world weren't the ones who never failed. They were the ones who refused to give up after failing 1,000 times. You see, giving up is easy, it's logical, it's even comfortable, but the most extraordinary lives are not lived in comfort, they're lived in courage. When you feel like stopping, that's the exact moment your breakthrough is being built. Every cell in your body is listening to your emotions. When you say, I can't, your body shuts down. When you say, I will, it awakens a power that science still struggles to explain. Your brain begins rewiring, your heart starts expanding, your energy starts aligning with the vision of who you can become. So when life hits you and it will, don't shrink, don't surrender, take a deep breath, plant your feet, and remind yourself you've come too far to quit now. Each challenge is a classroom, each failure a teacher. The question is not, why is this happening to me? But what is this teaching me? Because when you ask better questions, you get better answers. Persistence is not about trying harder, it's about becoming stronger inside. It's the art of transforming pain into power, confusion into clarity, and fear into faith. So if today you're standing in the middle of uncertainty, if your dreams feel distant, if the world has told you no one too many times, look within. That spark inside you, that whisper of possibility, it's not gone. It's waiting for you to say, I'm not done yet. Because greatness doesn't belong to those who never fall. It belongs to those who rise again and again, no matter what. So promise yourself today, no matter the pain, no matter the pace, you will never, ever give up. The power of mindset is the foundation of every transformation, every success story, and every comeback in history. It's not talent, luck, or circumstance that defines your destiny. It's the state of mind you choose to live from every single day. Your mindset is the invisible force shaping your decisions, your emotions, and ultimately your life. Everything begins in the mind long before it ever manifests in the physical world. The thoughts you repeat become beliefs, and your beliefs become the lens through which you experience reality. If your inner dialogue says, I'm not enough, then even the best opportunities will look like threats. But if you tell yourself, I am capable, I am learning, I am growing, then every challenge becomes a stepping stone to a higher level of strength and awareness. The truth is, your brain is a living, changing organism that listens and adapts to your thoughts. Science shows that your neural pathways strengthen with repetition. Every time you choose courage over fear, persistence over doubt, you are literally rewiring your brain for success. The same energy that once supported limitation can be redirected toward creation. You are not a fixed being, you are a dynamic process, capable of evolving in any direction you choose. That's the power of mindset. It's not about denying pain or pretending challenges don't exist. It's about deciding that you will not be defined by them. It's understanding that your outer world is always a mirror of your inner world. When you focus on fear, you attract reasons to fear. When you focus on gratitude, your brain starts noticing opportunities, support, and possibilities that were invisible before. This isn't just motivation, it's biology. Your thoughts generate emotions, emotions create energy, and energy drives behavior. A person who believes in themselves takes different actions than someone who doubts, and those actions, over time, compound into entirely different lives. The power of mindset also lies in your ability to interpret what happens to you. Two people can face the same event. One sees failure, the other sees feedback. One sees rejection, the other sees redirection. The difference isn't what happened, it's what they made it mean. When your mindset is growth-oriented, every experience becomes valuable. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what can I learn from this? That single shift changes everything. Because now, even pain serves a purpose, but this power doesn't come automatically. It must be practiced daily. You train your body at the gym, but your mind is your true muscle. You must feed it, stretch it, and challenge it. Replace complaint with gratitude. Replace self doubt with self-talk that empowers you. Replace comparison with focus on your own progress. Over time, this mental discipline becomes your natural state. And when your mind is strong, life stops feeling like something happening to you. It becomes something happening for you. Every great achievement begins in thought. Every innovation, every comeback, every revolution was once an idea in someone's mind, someone who refused to let their circumstances dictate their destiny. That's the essence of mindset, the decision to choose power over paralysis, hope over helplessness, action over excuses. You can't always control what happens around you, but you can always control how you think about it. And when you master your thinking, you master your life. So guard your thoughts as you would guard your future, because they are the same thing. Feed your mind with strength, clarity, and belief, and the world will respond in kind. Remember, every limit you've ever believed was real began as a thought, and that means you have the power to think beyond it. Resilience over results is one of the most vital lessons in the journey of growth and greatness. We live in a world obsessed with outcomes, trophies, numbers, recognition, yet true progress is not defined by how quickly we reach the destination, but by how powerfully we rise every time we stumble. Resilience is the invisible strength that fuels every breakthrough. It's the ability to keep showing up, even when success seems far away, even when no one is watching, even when your energy feels drained and your faith feels tested. Results are temporary. Resilience is eternal. It's what shapes character, deepens wisdom, and turns ordinary people into unstoppable forces of will and purpose. Resilience is not born in moments of comfort. It's forged in the fire of resistance. When everything seems easy, your mind doesn't grow, it relaxes. But when you're challenged, when the world says no, when doors close and plans fail, that's when your true strength is sculpted. Those are the moments that stretch you beyond your limits and teach you how much potential still sleeps within you. The struggle you face today isn't a punishment, it's preparation. Every obstacle is secretly an opportunity, inviting you to develop emotional toughness, patience, and self-belief. When you stop fearing resistance and start embracing it as your personal trainer for greatness, you transform how you live. Think of nature. A seed breaks before it grows. The diamond is formed under pressure. The strongest trees grow against the wind, not with it. In the same way, your resilience grows when life tests you. The people who achieve lasting fulfillment are not the ones who never face storms. They are the ones who learn to dance in the rain. They understand that results are just milestones, but resilience is a lifestyle, a state of being that says, no matter what happens, I will keep moving forward. Resilience also teaches us patience. We live in a world of instant gratification, instant messages, instant meals, instant answers, but greatness doesn't come instantly. It's a slow, deliberate process built on perseverance. Many people quit just before their breakthrough because they confuse delay with denial. But the truth is, sometimes the universe is not saying no, it's saying not yet. The delay is giving you time to become the kind of person who can handle the success that's coming. Without resilience, success becomes fragile, it falls apart the moment pressure returns. But when you've been through the fire, when you've survived the nights of uncertainty, when you've fallen and learned how to rise again, your success is no longer luck, it's legacy. Resilience also means emotional mastery, staying grounded when things don't go your way. Most people react to circumstances. Resilient people respond to them. They don't allow external chaos to dictate internal peace. They know how to pause, breathe, and choose their attitude consciously. Because resilience is not just endurance, it's intelligent endurance. It's the art of staying flexible, optimistic, and creative in the face of challenges. You don't have to be unbreakable, you just have to be willing to rebuild yourself every time you break. And finally, resilience over results means you measure progress not by what you've achieved, but by what you've overcome. The value of a mountain is not in how high it stands, but in how much strength it takes to climb. Every time you keep going, even when the results aren't visible, you are building invisible muscles, courage, persistence, and faith. Those are the real rewards, because results fade, but the person you become through resilience remains. The next time life knocks you down, don't ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What is this shaping me to become?" That question alone will remind you that every struggle is not the end of your story, it's the beginning of your evolution. Emotional mastery is the silent art of true strength. It's not about suppressing what you feel. It's about learning how to direct your emotions instead of being directed by them. Every human being experiences waves of emotion: fear, anger, doubt, excitement, love, but few ever learn how to ride those waves with control and awareness. Most people let emotions control their choices, reactions, and even their self-worth. Yet, the difference between those who break down and those who break through is emotional intelligence, the ability to stay centered when everything around you is chaotic. Emotional mastery doesn't mean you don't feel pain. It means you no longer let pain define your behavior. Our emotions are signals, not commands. They are data, not destiny. When you learn to understand what your emotions are teaching you, you begin to make decisions from wisdom rather than reaction. For example, fear can mean caution, but it can also mean growth. Anger can show you where your boundaries have been crossed, but it doesn't have to control your tone or actions. Sadness can be an invitation to reflect, not a reason to give up. Emotional mastery begins when you stop fighting your emotions and start listening to them not from weakness, but from power. You begin to ask yourself, "What is this emotion trying to show me?" instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" That single shift takes you from victimhood to leadership within your own life. Your emotions also shape your energy. Every emotion carries a frequency. When you are angry, afraid, or hopeless, your body contracts, your breathing shortens, and your energy field becomes small. But when you feel gratitude, courage, or love, your body expands, your brain opens, and your energy begins to synchronize with clarity and possibility. Science now confirms that emotions are not abstract, they are biochemical states that directly influence your performance, health, and focus. This means that learning to master your emotions is not a spiritual luxury. It's a practical necessity for success and fulfillment. Imagine two people facing the same challenge. One reacts with frustration and panic. The other pauses, breathes deeply, and chooses calm determination. The first burns out, the second adapts. The event was the same, but their emotional response created two entirely different outcomes. This is why emotional mastery is more powerful than external control, because you can't always control what happens around you, but you can always control what happens within you. Your inner world is the only real environment you will ever truly manage, and mastering it is the key to unlocking peace in chaos. Emotional mastery also means taking responsibility for your state before taking action. When you operate from frustration or fear, your decisions are reactive and short-sighted. But when you ground yourself in balance and awareness, your actions become intentional and aligned. Before every major choice, check your emotional temperature. Ask, "Am I acting from a place of fear or from a place of strength?" This small act of awareness can prevent 1,000 unnecessary regrets. Finally, emotional mastery is not a destination, it's a practice. You will still feel anger, sadness, or disappointment, but now you'll know how to guide those emotions instead of being consumed by them. The most powerful people on earth are not those who never fall apart. They are the ones who can find stillness in the middle of the storm. They can transform fear into focus, pain into purpose, and failure into fuel. When you reach that level of awareness, nothing outside you can truly shake you, because you've learned the highest skill of all to master the world within. Vision and faith are the twin engines that drive all human progress. Without vision, we wander aimlessly, repeating the same patterns, trapped by the illusion of limitation. Without faith, we see our dreams but never dare to reach for them. Vision gives you direction, faith gives you fuel. Together, they create momentum that can move mountains. Every achievement that has ever changed the world began first in someone's imagination, a mind bold enough to see what wasn't visible yet, a heart strong enough to believe before any evidence appeared. That's the essence of true creation, to see with the inner eye what others can't see, and to keep believing when reality hasn't caught up yet. Vision is not just about goals, it's about clarity of purpose. It's not a list of what you want, it's the deeper reason why you want it. The clearer your vision, the stronger your energy aligns with it. When you know where you're going, distractions lose their power. People who drift through life without vision often feel lost or stuck, not because they lack ability, but because they lack a defined direction. Vision gives meaning to struggle, turns pain into progress, and transforms obstacles into stepping stones. It reminds you that every delay is part of your design. It helps you stay focused when the world tempts you to settle. But even the greatest vision is useless without faith. Faith is not blind optimism, it's the courageous knowing that what you desire is already possible, even when the path is not yet visible. Faith doesn't remove fear, it teaches you to move forward despite it. When you live with faith, you stop asking, "How will this happen?" and start saying, "I know it will happen, I just need to keep moving." This mindset changes everything. Because the moment you begin to believe, your brain starts searching for evidence to support that belief. Your focus sharpens, your energy increases, and the world starts reflecting your inner conviction. Faith also teaches you patience. Vision gives you the destination, but faith helps you walk the distance. There will be seasons when it feels like nothing is working, when progress seems invisible. Those moments test your inner strength more than your outer ability. Many people give up too soon because they confuse waiting with wasting. But faith knows that just because something isn't visible yet doesn't mean it's not happening. Growth happens in the unseen, just like a seed must root in darkness before it blooms in light. There's also a spiritual intelligence in vision and faith. When you set a clear intention and hold unwavering belief, you begin to align with forces greater than yourself: intuition, synchronicity, unseen opportunities. You start noticing doors you didn't see before, people who can help you, moments of perfect timing that feel like miracles. These aren't coincidences, they are confirmations that your faith is magnetic. Your belief literally shapes your reality, drawing toward you the circumstances and energy that match your inner picture. Vision and faith also demand responsibility. When you commit to a dream, you must also commit to becoming the person capable of living it. The gap between who you are and who you want to be is bridged by discipline, consistency, and faith-driven action. You can't just wish for your vision, you must walk toward it daily, even when you don't feel like it, even when no one else believes. That is how dreams evolve into reality, through steady faith-backed effort. In the end, vision and faith are not luxuries, they are lifelines. They remind you that your current circumstances do not define your final destination. They teach you to see possibility where others see limitation, to believe in progress when the world only shows obstacles. When vision guides your direction and faith fuels your steps, no setback can stop you. You might bend, but you won't break. You might pause, but you'll never quit, because those who see the unseen and believe in it long enough are the ones who ultimately make it real. Learning from failure is one of the most powerful skills any human being can ever develop. Failure is not the opposite of success, it's the foundation of it. Every great discovery, every invention, every personal breakthrough was born through a series of failures that tested the will, expanded the mind, and refined the vision of those who refused to stop. Failure is feedback, pure, honest data that life gives you so you can grow. Yet most people run from it, fear it, or allow it to define their worth. They think failure means the end, when in truth, it's only the beginning of a deeper understanding of who they are and what they are capable of. Failure strips away illusion, it removes ego and reveals truth. When you fail, you learn what doesn't work, but more importantly, you learn what still matters. You learn about your resilience, your patience, your determination, and your hunger. Failure teaches you in ways that comfort never will. Success can sometimes seduce you into thinking you've mastered everything, but failure humbles you enough to stay a student. It keeps your spirit teachable, your focus sharp, and your purpose grounded. It reminds you that growth is not linear. It's full of detours, redirections, and recalibrations. Every failure carries a message if you're willing to listen. When you face a setback, you can either label it as defeat or treat it as data. You can ask yourself, what is this teaching me? That single question turns frustration into fuel. Maybe it's teaching you patience or strategy or humility. Maybe it's redirecting you to a better path you hadn't seen before. What seems like rejection is often protection, a way of guiding you towards something more aligned with your truth. Life doesn't punish you with failure, it shapes you through it. Think about every person who has ever achieved something extraordinary. None of them avoided failure, they learned how to use it. The world remembers their triumphs, but rarely sees the countless unseen attempts that came before. The greatest innovators, leaders, and creators all failed more times than they succeeded, but they never let failure define them. They treated every setback as a teacher, every mistake as a map, every obstacle as an invitation to evolve. That's the secret. They learned to extract wisdom instead of pain from their failures. Failure also builds emotional endurance. When you survive disappointment and still move forward, you strengthen a muscle that success alone can't build: resilience. You become less afraid of risk, less dependent on validation, and more focused on growth. You begin to see that the value of failure lies not in what you lost, but in what you gained: a new level of self-awareness, strength, and courage. You start to realize that you are not fragile, you are adaptive. But to learn from failure, you must first release the shame attached to it. Society often treats failure as a sign of weakness, but it's actually a badge of courage. It means you dared to try something others only dream about. Every failure is proof that you were in motion, that you were willing to step into the unknown. Failure is not a mark of inadequacy, it's evidence of effort. The only real failure is refusing to learn from it. In the end, learning from failure is about transforming perception. It's about seeing failure not as the closing of a door, but as the opening of a new one, a better one. Every mistake carries a hidden message. You are being refined, not rejected. When you begin to view failure as a teacher, you stop fearing it. You embrace it as part of your evolution, part of your story, and that's when you gain the ultimate advantage, because while others quit after falling, you rise wiser, stronger, and more prepared than ever. Failure doesn't stop you. It shapes you into the kind of person who can't be stopped. The rebirth of persistence is the awakening of the human spirit, the moment when you realize that giving up is not an option because there is something within you that refuses to die. Persistence is not just about continuing to try, it's about continuously transforming each time you rise. Every time you get back up after falling, you are not the same person who fell. You come back with more clarity, more strength, and more wisdom. That is rebirth, the renewal of your identity through perseverance. Life has a way of testing your commitment to your dreams. It will push you, break you, and strip away everything superficial until only your true purpose remains. And in that moment, when most people would surrender, those who persist are reborn into a higher version of themselves. Persistence is often misunderstood. It is not stubbornly repeating the same actions expecting a different result. It's about evolving your approach while keeping your vision alive. It's about adjusting your strategy but never abandoning your mission. When you persist, you are declaring that your dreams are worth the pain, worth the patience, and worth the process. You begin to understand that the journey is not meant to be easy, it's meant to prepare you. Every delay, every rejection, every hardship is refining your capacity to handle what you're asking for. The person you are becoming is far more important than the goal itself, because without growth, even success feels empty. When persistence is reborn within you, failure stops feeling final. You begin to see every setback as feedback and every disappointment as direction. You stop saying, "Why me?" and start saying, "Try me." You start recognizing that life's challenges are not there to block you, but to build you. The stronger the resistance, the greater the transformation it's trying to awaken. That's the paradox of persistence. It doesn't just get you to your goal, it changes who you are in the process. You become someone who cannot be broken because you've learned how to rebuild yourself over and over again. There comes a point when persistence becomes your identity, not just your action. You no longer rely on motivation or inspiration because you've trained your mind to stay committed even in silence. You've learned that persistence isn't glamorous. It's often quiet, unseen, and uncomfortable. It's waking up when you'd rather sleep. It's showing up when no one claps. It's doing the work when the world doubts you. That's where champions are made, not in moments of applause, but in moments of isolation when only your willpower keeps you moving. The rebirth of persistence also means releasing the attachment to time. You stop asking when your breakthrough will come and start trusting that it will come when you are ready. Patience becomes your power. You understand that growth doesn't happen on your schedule, it happens on the timeline of your evolution. Every delay has a divine purpose. Every season of waiting is teaching you endurance, emotional strength, and trust. When you persist long enough, the universe eventually bends in your favor, but it doesn't happen by chance. It happens because you refuse to quit. Persistence is the ultimate act of faith. It says, even when I can't see the finish line, I believe it's there. It's the soul's way of saying, I will not stop until I become everything I'm meant to be. And when that mindset is reborn within you, you stop chasing success, you start embodying it. You no longer hope for change, you become the change. You realize that every time you rise after falling, you're proving something not to the world, but to yourself that you are limitless, unbreakable, and destined for more. That is the rebirth of persistence, the moment when your will becomes stronger than your wounds and your purpose becomes louder than your pain.